Are you ready to level up? This video series is designed to inspire and empower those with a dream to step into the next level on their journey of becoming the confident, passionate soul that is within. Get ready to be inspired. Hey guys, welcome. Today I'm so excited to kick this off and start our week 1 of the Level Up series with our very first guest speaker. Today I have the honor and pleasure of having my friend, the fabulous, radiant, inspiring Katy Martin is on today, and I am so excited to allow you guys to hear more about her story, her heart, and everything she's got to share. So thank you, my friend, for being on with me today.
Thank you. It's an absolute privilege. Girl, I am like your cheerleader, an absolute fan of yours and what you are doing. So thank you for even giving me the opportunity to share today.
Oh, thank you so much. The fact, when I sent this to you and asked you if you wanted to be a part of this, your excitement made me even more excited. Just sharing in that, same vision together just lights my fire even more. And I'm just so excited for our audience to hear from you today. So before we dive into our first topic of the week, we're going to be covering all things leveling up mentally, which I'm so excited for you guys to hear from Katy about this subject because she's a powerhouse with this. But I first want you guys to get to know her. So Katy, tell us a little bit about you, where you're located from, a little bit about your journey to this point.
I love it. Thank you. Haley, I know when we were talking, I was discussing with you, I don't usually talk about myself. Usually I get to find out about everybody else. And so, okay, it is my moment to share, hey, this is who I am. So I am so excited to do that. Well, I'm a life and business breakthrough coach, and that has not always been my journey and my story, but right now we reside in North Carolina. So a little bit that you should know about Katy is that I am an absolute free spirit. Like I love to just go and to adventure. And so we have lived all kinds of places. And that is truly a passion of mine with the business and life coaching is that you can influence people anywhere. Mm-hmm. Like you have the ability to be anywhere and they have the ability to be anywhere. So the way that we can be connected is it's absolutely incredible and beautiful. But a little bit about my journey to getting to this point. I am a small town girl from Northern California, have always wanted to be a difference maker, like big dreams of what I was going to do in the world, a go-getter, the doer, the dreamer, the hustler. And what I know is that everyone has a story. And so a little bit about my story, again, being that girl who is the go-getter, the hustler, the doer, the dreamer. And the story for me is that there was some traumatic life experiences. And I know we all have life that happens to us. But what that did was I found myself overcompensating, working harder to prove my worth. And so my outside game to the world was absolutely on point. But my inside game, my thought life, my emotions, like who I was in the quiet, like who I actually had to live with and deal with was suffering in such a hard way. And so I realized something needed to change. It took a lot for me to realize that. And so at the time I was in network marketing, had been in network marketing for 15 years, top of my game in that, like absolutely crushing it, doing so well that we were able to retire my husband at the age of 30. We were homeschooling our children, just living truly the dream life. You know what everybody has on their vision board? That's the life we had. And I have this wake up moment where I do not want my work to be my worth, that I don't want this identity forever. Like if this is what it is to be a boss babe, I don't want it. Like, is there some secret? I thought for sure there was some secret to success, like, and the secret was everyone was stressed out and struggling. And so that is, again, when I woke up and realized it is time for transformation. And so I decided to become responsible for my thought life instead of reactive to my thought life. So that's really where my transformation began, because externally I was doing all this stuff, but internally I wasn't being responsible for my thought life, which is hard to even verbalize and say, because I was a super positive person, because I even had on my voicemail, what you think about, you bring about. So it was like, I knew the power of my thoughts, yet I wasn't taking control of my mindset. And so it just led to this huge transformation in life, to where I said, I want to offer this to other women. Like, I know I'm not the only person with a DNA of doing, like with that go-getter spirit inside of us that wants more out of life, but doesn't want to lose their priorities and their sanity in the process. And so that's how we got here.
Yes. Amen to that. Yes. Oh my goodness. I know so many relate to your story. I, for one, I am one of them, just the go, 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 the hustle and bustle, chasing success, chasing the next thing. And you get to that point and you're like, yes, like I've arrived. I have it all. This is where I'm at. But then something's missing.
Yes.
And I love that you were able to really take a step back and recognize that and ask yourself the question of, is this truly what I value? And this is what I want to prioritize. Something's not right. And you feel that deep within, but I think so oftentimes we ignore that inkling that keeps creeping in. And so I love that you shared that. I love how you had that transformation. And even more so, I love how you're bringing that to other women, because I do think it is a part of our culture and society where we're all in this go, go, go hustle mentality to get to that next level. But if you're sacrificing yourself and your well-being and your mindset in the process, then is it really worth it? And I think you know the answer to that.
Right.
In terms of kind of coming into this journey and really taking that step into your new vision, your new journey, like where you're at now, what has changed for you with your clarity and your mental well-being?
Oh, so much. Oh my goodness. Like I said, it's this like light bulb moment.
Yeah.
And I believe the biggest thing that I feel the change is in my energy, like who I am and my energy, the energy that I feel inside, the excitement, the enthusiasm. I feel alive. Like I absolutely feel alive, but then also the energy that other people receive from me. And so that has been the way that really I'm able to gauge the transformation, has been that level of energy, excitement, freedom. I'm alive again. Oh my gosh. And as you said, like, we ask ourselves, is it worth it? Like, is it really worth it? And what I want women to know is that you can have your cake and eat it too.
Yes, you can.
I never wanted to hear, you need to rest. I didn't want to hear that. Like, no, I want to make this happen. And so I didn't want to hear when I was struggling with so many health issues, I didn't want the doctors to say, well, do you feel you're stressed? I was like, well, no, I'm living my dream life. What do you mean I'm stressed? And so what I want us to realize is that we can have that vision. We can have that level of success that we want, but we can also enjoy our priorities. We can also remain in this level of peace and power at the same time, that we don't have to give it all up, that there is a way to make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my goodness. So if you don't mind me asking, I would love to know, before to now, how did your mindset and where you were at before affect you in your physical health, in your family, in your career? How is that affecting you? And then how has that changed now that you make it that main priority?
Yeah. Truly, Haley, what didn't it affect? Like, that's really what I have to say, is what didn't it affect? It affected everything. It affected my marriage. It affected my children. It affected my children's mental health. It affected my physical health in such a way that all of these labels that I received from autoimmune diseases that I was labeled that I had, that when my mental health came on point, when my mindset got right, when I cleared all of that stuff out, all of these physical issues that were manifesting in my body went away.
Yeah.
And when all the craziness comes back, or when I allow past thought patterns to overtake, I feel those physical feelings again. And so it affected everything, because then that affects your ability to succeed, because you are down, you're having bad days. Oh my gosh, anxiety,
Yeah.
depression, all of it. So truly, to say, what didn't affect every relationship, my entire physical state, my success journey, everything. It affected everything.
Wow. It's crazy that you say that, because I experienced something very similar. And it wasn't until I had more clarity and really stepped into what I value and put that as a priority that things shifted for me. And what's crazy is I lived with that
Yeah.
like down part for so long. And I didn't realize that a lot of it was my mindset and the mental, well-being. And it affected me so physically, because I think oftentimes we suppress. We say, I'm okay. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to push through. I'm okay. And we just keep pushing it down and down and down. And so, last year around this time, I was going to the chiropractor all the time because physically I was in so much pain. And I actually do have arthritis. And what I found is it tends to flare up when I'm very stressed. And so all the time I'm like, why, I'm young, I'm in my 20s. I shouldn't be feeling, joint pain every single day of my life. Like, what is going on? And I didn't even connect it until my mentality was so strong, and I, stepped into what I really valued. And it wasn't until that shift happened that I felt no pain. And then I connected it, and it was just like, oh my goodness.
Right.
It was me. I suppressed that. And it's crazy how much it affects you. Oh my word. Absolutely
100%.
crazy. So how has that shifted now?
Oh my goodness, they're great. I was loving what you were mentioning about what you value, because that is, when you say, how has that shifted now? It has shifted that truly what I value, I'm actually able to value and prioritize it. So very often we can mention, like, we're aware of what's important to us. Like,
Definitely.
we know our why we're hustling, why we have that goal. Like that is clear to us. Most people, if you ask them, they can answer that. But it truly comes down to then, well, what does that look like on a day-to-day basis? Those are your priorities. If that is what you value, how is that getting your energy, your mental capacity, your time every single day? Like, how are you giving that to what you value? And so, just to think, like, physically, I mean, that's the first place that I would say for me, because that was somewhere I was suffering so much. So physically, so strong. Like, I do not get my sicknesses. I do not, like, it is, I can say, like, I'm healed. I am absolutely healed, and that I don't identify with that sick person anymore. Like, I don't operate like that anymore. Relationships, the patience, oh my gosh, that I have with my children. I bought into this lie that we just, as moms, we just are going to explode and yell at them. That's just what we're going to do. And it hurt me. Mom guilt, it's just a part of who we are.
Yeah.
And that bothered me. I didn't like going to bed just going, that's just a part of life. It's a given. They're going to make you lose your cool, and you're just going to let loose. And then you're going to have mom guilt, and you're going to go to bed and be okay and start again tomorrow. I didn't want that to be my reality. Does it mean I am, like, the Mary Poppins Pollyanna mom? No, I am human. But there's a lot less of those moments. There's a lot more patience. There's a lot more love. So my relationships with my daughters, it's beautiful. My marriage is so healthy. Like, we communicate in a way that, it just fuels my soul. And so business-wise, I am not striving. It is like things just flow to me. it's just, it's so cool. Like, things just are happening and they're flowing to me where I used to be the one making it happen. Like, just feeling like if I let up for 1 second, it was all going to fall apart. Everything, the home, the family, the business, it was all going to fall apart. And so that, just that level of peace, knowing like, oh my gosh. And then spiritually, I mean, truly being able to say, okay, God, this is my identity. Like, this is who you've created me to be. And I get to walk in this. Like, I know what it means when he says, renew your mind, and that we have that power. I know what that means because I'm experiencing it. You're like, we can have those things. It's not just cliche. It's just not pretty scripture for wall art, like, it's real life. So total transformation.
Wow. Oh my goodness. So many things in that journey. One thing I want to ask you is, did you have a day, where you were like, okay, enough is enough. Something's got to change. And if you did, what was the first step you took into getting to that next level?
Oh, so good. Oh my gosh. Okay. So first step that I took was a level of consciousness. So a level of becoming aware, like really opening up my mind and going, where is this coming from? What is it that I really want? What truly am I scared of? What are my fears? Like, why do I believe that? Like, there just became these series of questions that when that pivotal life moment happened for me, these life questions just started coming to my conscious mind. And when I started to write these out and notice them, it was like routines and patterns and habits, and my life was just flashing before my eyes of like, oh my goodness, I have created all of these truths of who I believe I am. Not that they're not real. The experiences happened. That's the thing that I share with clients all the time, is it's not that the story isn't true. The experiences happened. I did go through that. But what I chose to do about it, how I chose to now retell the story, how it's playing as a narrative in my mind, was what was unhealthy. And those were the things that I needed to begin to address. So it was this level of consciousness and awareness of just digging in to who I am, what I believe, how I was created, and really answering lots of questions about that. Not a surface level, a very in-depth thought process.
Yeah, digging deep. I think with awareness, it allows us to be proactive about the things we truly do desire. But when you don't tap into that, and I think too often, again, in the hustle and bustle, we don't take enough time to take a step back and think, what do I want? What's important, and really check in with yourself, right? And so I think you're so right. Like, when you have that awareness and you really dig deep and take the time to do so, it's like, oh, okay, so this is why, and it all makes sense. So from that point forward, how did you transition from, that hustle bustle, super successful, like top of the company, you killing it. How did you transition from that to, where you're at with just living a life fulfilled, living at peace, really stepping into who you were meant to be?
Yeah. This is the dream life. Like, that's what I want people to know, is that what I thought was the dream life, what I was holding so tight to, what was causing all of that chaos inside my mind and inside my body and life, that was not the dream. That's what I thought the dream was. And so when we really dig into our mind and we bring things to our conscious awareness, we're allowed to ask ourselves, is that really the dream? Like, is that really what I want? Or why is it that I feel I want that? Like, what is it that I'm really after? And when we tackle those thoughts, it's so exciting to tackle those thoughts. So with that being said, like, I am living the dream life now. Like, that's the thing that I'm excited about. So when you say fulfillment and peace, I didn't have to give anything up.
Yeah.
I didn't have to give anything up. I had everything to gain. So although it can sound scary of like, you were the top of your game, now I know what that really means. Like now I go, oh, this is what the top of the game. This is what that looks like. And so we have everything to gain to go through the steps and to do the digging deep work that we need to do to get there. So I would encourage that. But for me, it's daily practices. It wasn't like I made a decision and boom, transformation. It was daily practices, and it's still going. Like
doesn't stop. Mindset's tough. It doesn't stop.
It does not stop. And I think that's encouraging. It's encouraging to know that it doesn't stop, that this level of excitement that you have, this alive feeling that you have, this newness, this freshness, that it can only get better.
Yeah.
That, it really is, again, our thought process of, oh, do I still have to work on mindset stuff, or I get to, and it only gets better. And so it's a daily practice. I definitely do. I share this with everyone to do. I do quarterly check-ins. Like it is a quarterly silent retreat, and it can be a staycation. You don't have to go anywhere, but to where you just shut everything down. Shut everything down. I do it in my daily life as well, where all notifications get turned off. Peaceful nature music is turned on, and I just meditate and pray. And that is what helps keep me centered, focused, alive, aware. So again, wasn't just like this transformation moment. It's a daily practice, quarterly activities in place to stay true to who I am.
Definitely. And you're so right. It's a journey. I often think about mindset. I'm such a visual person, and I think about mindset as a muscle that you're constantly working and building that strength. And you're so right. It is a daily thing, but I love when you said, I get to, because that right there is a major mindset thing. When you turn anything into, I get to do this, instead of, oh, I have to work on my mindset. I have to dig deep. No, you get to dig deep. You get to evolve. You get to step into that, man or woman that you want to become. You get to do this so that you can truly live that life that you desire, and that brings you joy and peace at the same time. Oh my goodness. So good.
I love what you said about the muscle, about it being a muscle, because again, the other part that I love is that at first, like, mindset strategies are techniques. They're like techniques that you have in your toolbox. You said you're visual, and so am I. And so it's like you go through something, you're like, okay, and you're frantically digging through your mindset strategy toolbox, going like, which one do I apply to this? Like, is this a limiting belief? Is this a fear? Like, what am I applying right now? But it soon does become a part of who you are.
Definitely.
Like it doesn't mean that we don't stop exercising that muscle called mindset. We will always be exercising that, but it does become more of who we are. And we're not frantically digging for this strategy. It's downloaded. It's part of our subconscious. It is now who we are. And it's the same thought process with the get to. Instead of the have to. When we have to, that obligation automatically on the next part of the cycle robs us of energy. Like our energy depletes. The thoughts and the chemicals in our brain go down when we have to. But when we get to, our energy elevates. And we're like, now instead of obligation, it becomes choice. And the way we treat choices is like, oh yeah, it's my decision. So
yes, it's exciting. It's like, oh yes, like I get to do this. I love that.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
good. I love that you said toolbox too, because that's actually something I use. And I use it to say, okay, I want to check in with myself daily. How is my mind doing? How is my body feeling? Like how just everything. I want to make sure everything's aligned and that I'm feeling good. And I love to think about the toolbox as a way to, when I am checking in, okay, if something's a little off, what do I need from my toolbox? What can I pull? Is it, some meditation? Is it prayer? Is it going for a run? Is it, some sort of activity that helps to shift my mind so I can get back to that place where I am more aligned? So I love your visuals. Thank you for giving that to me. I absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it. So how, where you're at now and what you're doing, a lot of it is helping other women to step into being more crystal clear so that they can be confident in the things that, light their hearts on fire and they can have that peace. So, what is a practice that you encourage other women to take on when they are starting the journey of stepping into, leveling up their mindset and feeling more peace in their heart?
Absolutely. The first step, the absolute first step that I begin with every time with a client is vision. It's vision. And so often, including myself personally, I felt like I know what I want from life. I know this, but it's such a deeper level of asking yourself vision questions and walking it through what I call the wellness wheel. So 8 different areas of life, because Haley, we can be leveling up in our business life, but our home life can really be suffering. We can be leveling up in certain relationships, but our finances are hurting. And so the wellness wheel encompasses all areas of life so that we truly do feel that peace that we want to feel, so that we do feel aligned. And so it's vision, but it's taking vision through a series of questions and then running those questions also through the vision or through the wellness wheel, so that you have a whole panoramic view of your life, what you want that to look like. Once that's in place, once that piece is in place, then taking that vision and meditating on it 5 to 20 minutes a day, quieting the mind, meditating on that vision, and speaking as if that is who you are. See, vision is what you see for the future. And so when I want you to write vision, I want you to write it not like the once I get there person, but I want you to write it like your forever self. Like this is forever who is your identity. See, God doesn't change our DNA once we reach a certain level. It is already a part of who we are. And so our vision, we operate fully in that identity. We meditate on it fully as if that's exactly who we are, because it is. It is who we are. We may not see it right now around us, but again, when we visualize, we must own that identity 100%. And so that's an activity that, again, every day, 5 to 15 minutes, investing your mind to that to keep yourself aligned and focused.
Wow. And I love how you didn't just touch on, the vision for what you see and what you desire in the future, but that you really put that through that wellness wheel and you asked, how is this going to impact all areas? We want that balance. We don't want to just, be super strong in one area of our life. How does that look all the way around, and how does that vision impact it? I think that is such a powerful, powerful activity. And wow. Mind blown. I absolutely love that.
I was thinking something on what you were mentioning, because what most women do, again, and I say most, it's what we do is we go, okay, I have a goal. And a goal is based off of a desire. And our desire is we want it because we're lacking something. Okay. And so the reason I start with vision and we identify as that person is because often we're working actually backwards. We go, okay, I have a goal because I'm lacking something. So now I want to make that happen. I want that dream car. I want that position. I want that paycheck. I want whatever it is that we want. I want to look this way. So we have this goal, and then we go, okay, these are the things that I have to change to make that happen. So we come in and we start to change our habits. So it's the things that we're doing, the habits that we're going to change to get to our goal, instead of addressing what needs to be addressed first. And that's the thought process. That's the mindset of, what is it that you are thinking about weight, about wellness, about what you eat? Like, it's the thought process. So the cycle that I run it through is think a new thought, which is then going to create a new behavior, which is then going to produce a new habit, which is now going to give you a result. And so instead of attacking these things that we want in life and going, I'm going after it, and we're totally off in all other areas of life, instead we have a whole panoramic view of our vision. And now we can say, think a new thought, which is going to create new behaviors, which will produce new habits, which will give me new results, instead of result to now what do I need to just do different. And we end up quitting. We end up not following through on our goal because we didn't address the mindset and thought process first.
I love that you touched on that, because I think a lot of people have it backwards, and we focus on what habits, what do I need to do? Like the external things, what needs to change? What habits do I need to do to take action? But we're not thinking about the thought process behind. And I honestly think that's why so many times, especially as entrepreneurs, especially as women entrepreneurs, we face burnout, because it's always about the doing and not taking it even just a little bit further back to that thought process and why we want to do it, right? Like, what's that thought going to do to take action, and then the doing. It's all, it aligns that way. But I think we're so used to the opposite way. And something too you touched on earlier that like really resonated with me as well is, I think a lot of times we are like running to what we feel we should do. Instead of taking the time to check in with ourselves, take a step back and ask ourselves why we're doing what we're doing. Why do we want to move forward? And really getting into that thought process before we simply just take action. So I think that's a really powerful piece of your story that you shared, is when you allowed yourself to like check in and you're like, whoa, something's got to change. And you stepped into the mind and you really like worked through that thought process. Then it allowed you to truly build the life of your dreams rather than just what you felt you should be doing. Oh, so powerful.
It's so true, because we have those borrowed beliefs, or in a lot of areas of life, there's a next step. And so it's natural to think, it's very normal to think, well, I should want the next step. Exactly. Well, I should want the next step. Like I've gotten there now, I should want the next step. But do we really want that? Like, and then if so, what is it about it that we do want? And so it's a lot of check-ins.
A lot of check-in, a lot of asking yourself why, really sitting in and digging deep, getting still, allowing yourself to think about things a little bit deeper and check in with yourself and how you value what it is that you desire, and really check in, because what you may find is it isn't something that aligns with the life that you do dream about. Oh my goodness. Yes. Wow. So one final question I want to ask you today is, if you could give our viewers a challenge, something that they could do this week to step into that next level of their mindset, what would you say?
I would challenge you all to quiet your mind for 20 minutes. Like, quiet your mind for 20 minutes. So shut off all notifications. Find yourself that peaceful spot. Mamas, if you have to hide in the closet or the pantry or whatever, like, I know you're going like, sounds nice, lady, but do you know my life?
Homeschooling right now too, with everything going on.
I know. We homeschool, so I get that. So I absolutely get that. But I believe that we will continue to find an excuse as long as we're unwilling to do the work. But the moment that we're like, enough is enough. So the people who will do this exercise are the people who are like, enough is enough. Like, I am ready to have my cake and eat it too. So I'm willing to sit and get quiet and just start listening to my thoughts, asking myself questions of I'd ask yourself, what does success look like? What does success look like to you? Okay. What are your core priorities? And how are you living those each day? Ask yourself those questions. How do you want to feel when you wake up in the morning?
Yeah.
You know, what lights you up? Like, what energizes you? Ask yourself those questions and sit and start journaling whatever it is that starts coming to your mind. And as you do that, listen to the nagging voice, because there is going to be that voice that is trying to pull you back. And that voice, I'm just giving you like some gold right now, okay? That voice, those nagging thoughts are thoughts that are keeping you stuck right where you are. They're fears, they're limiting beliefs, it's ego, it's things that need to be addressed. And so I'm not just going to say go into vision dream state, but I'm going to give you the gold and say, listen, like flip the paper over. When a nagging thought comes up, address it, write it down, because there's something deeper going on with that. And when we can get to the root of that, breakthroughs.
Wow. Yes. I know when you think about leveling up, this whole series is about leveling up in all areas of your life. And I love what you said about checking in on those negative things, those thoughts that come up, because when you become aware, you can take action, and even better yet, you can release what is no longer serving you, so that you can evolve and step into that woman or man that you want to be. That is powerful.
Because we can't think that we can just override the system. Like if I'm just like dream, then what we're taught so often is when something negative comes up to shout a positive affirmation over the top of it, or, to have your vision board and it's all going to be okay. And really what we're telling ourselves with those types of activities that are healthy when you're they're great, they're wonderful activities when you're doing the work. But what we're telling ourselves is it's okay, like we're just going to be able to override the system being the mindset, instead of we've got to rewire the system. So that's what I work on with my clients, is we've got to rewire it. We just can't override everything and run forward, because you will have to deal with it at some point.
Yeah, definitely. Mindset isn't just like, well, we'll just put a blanket over it and I'll deal with it later. Everything's positive. Everything's okay. I think oftentimes that's what we do. And that's why things come up in different ways, physically, in career. Yes. We keep doing, but you can't just sweep it all under the rug anymore. You've got to address it.
It will manifest itself.
Yes.
It will. And so we got to deal with it.
Definitely. And I'm just so grateful that we're kicking off this series talking about mentally, because truly I believe, like you said, it all starts with the mind, right? And so when we think about leveling up these next few weeks, we're going to talk about physically, we're going to talk about spiritually, we're going to talk about finances, we're going to go through all these steps, but it starts here. It starts with the mindset. It starts with becoming more aware so that you can be proactive, you can get into those limiting beliefs, break through them, release them, so that you can step into that next level that you do desire, but it starts here. And so, Katy, I just want to say, oh my goodness, my friend, today, wow, like I'm excited to watch this back myself, because I want to take notes. What you give is gold. I appreciate you showing up today and sharing your heart and just pouring into those who are going to watch this. Thank you so much for sharing this vision with me. Fun story, you guys. So we actually connected on Instagram just a few months back, and it's crazy to me because Katy, you were like one of those people that I feel like I've just known forever. Like we just clicked right away. We were sharing visions. She was like, girlfriend, I want to cheer you on, like right away before she even knew me. And it's just like, it just says so much about you and your servant heart. And you truly create a space for everyone to feel seen and heard, so that you can pour back into them. And so I'm so grateful that those who are going to watch this got to hear from you today. I'm so grateful to know you, and I'm so excited to be a part of your journey as well. You guys, if you're not already following this woman, you need to do so. Which reminds reminds me, where can they find you on social media? Tell us all of the places we can find you.
I love it. So Instagram at k.t._Martin. Let's hang out. Let's be friends.
Yes.
I'm going to encourage you too.
Yeah. Seriously, you guys, go follow Katy Martin because, yeah, she'll be cheering you on in the Instagram message. She's amazing. But truly, thank you for your time today, my friend. It has been such an honor.
Thank you. I'm so excited for you. Thank you.
You're welcome.